All right, good afternoon. I am doing a session here on ignition, just trying to get back in the swing of playing and narration. Ignition's a new site to me, so we have a couple tables going, two Zoom of the 50s and two tables of the hundreds. I'm new to ignition, just trying to grow up my bankroll here to get up to the 1-2 games and the 2-5, which seems to run a lot. Just kind of working my way through the sites and software and such. So we'll play and talk about it. And over here, I did a small 3-bet to his small raise. I think I can still call here. A min raise to a 3-bet that size is interesting. I think this guy's probably more strong and messing around. He even has like possibly aces, kings, something like that. I'm going to check here to realize some equity. Wait for the turn, see what happens. King 10 is a standard open. This Jack 10 was a standard 3-bet. It's definitely a fold now, going 3-way. All I can do now, I guess, is let this guy blast off. Hopefully another ace doesn't come. And hopefully he doesn't have like Jack Jack or Ace Ace. 9-6 is a fold. But yeah, you can tell that's basically coming. So this is played a lot like aces, but what am I going to do? I turn my hand there and turn a 2-outer. That's nice. So yeah, he was playing that hand like it was incredibly strong, which usually for being the min-raise 3-bet there is going to be like aces every time, occasionally 10s. Ace 10 also makes a lot of sense. So we kind of got away with one. That's definitely nice why we realized that equity there. And don't try to move him off something so strong. Queen Jack is a standard defend down here. Small blind versus under the gun. I don't know anything about this player. In the 7 hands we have, he's been an aggressive 3-better. So he misses a lot of this range with his ace kings, which is nice. I don't block that. Ace 5, open up in 3-bet. I'm going to 3-bet also my ace king down here. 3-bet squeeze it to, let's say, a little bit larger because it's under the gun. I'm not sure if this with this queen 10, if I want to push a little equity now. I can give a free card to aces and kings. I don't mind that so much. I'll do a range bet down here with my ace 5. And with ace king, we call it off here, obviously. And hit a king. Nope. All right, so 7 is not... it's not like it's amazing for him. Definitely doesn't help my range out here. I'm going to check here. He can have some other kind of stuff. With the board coming down, that kind of connected to the middle. His hand is usually pretty good here. I am going to bet my queen jack to try to get some value and protection here. I'm going to undersize it on this turn. And I don't think ace 5 here is strong enough. So I'm going to fold that. I could have bet that flop a little bit stronger, I guess, more polarized, but I decided not to. All right, so this is kind of what I was wondering if this guy is going to play for some sort of, say he's really strong here. It makes you wonder if he has a hand as good as 10-10. Ace queen seems unlikely. I think I just have to call here to the 2 blanks. I'm going to raise and 3-bet there. I'll call 1 here with the queen jack. I'm a little worried that I'm now going to be facing a river shove. Set up the pot for that kind of well. I was thinking about just folding on the turn to the check raise. Here, I'm going to rejoin the hand. I would have bet that flop. And I have to give up here on the king-queen. Down here, I think I have to call off here. He has a lot of ace-king still. The only hand that makes a lot of sense for him to play like this is pocket 10s or pocket queens, which I block one of. So I'm going to call it off here. And yeah, he has one of a few very strong hands. By checking back that flop here, I made my ace look a lot weaker than it is. This guy leaving twice pretty strong into two people is curious. I'm still going to call here, just hoping that he's on not two pair. This is a range bet, small blind range, maybe a little tight, but doesn't mean we still shouldn't apply pressure. That 10 definitely only really should help us, so we're going to go with that. And then it's curious. I guess I want to still just try to go for it. I don't think he turned a straight there. Yeah, it's just ignition's really tough. There's not a lot of time, but I think I would have bet more there, for sure. And we'll bet range down here with that board. Oh, I raised a little bit too much there with ace jack. That was not intentional. To raise beyond that, that's fine. And ace 8 here, we can certainly pitch now. This guy seems very aggressive. Just kind of getting a little feel for maybe what he's doing there. That's definitely not always a standard 3-bet against an under the gun open. 3-2 can't complete. King 7 will give King 7 an open. Ace jack is an open. Defender queen 9. Interesting spot, queen 9. We're a little bit deeper, so I'm going to take a little bit more passive route. At a 3/4 pot bet, we still beat a lot of hands, plus we have a redraw, a pretty decent redraw. It's a little curious now if I think I should be leading out here. And certainly I have to be betting. Well, man, it's so fast, the zone. I absolutely should have been betting that turn there. And for a pot size bet here on the river, sadly, I'm going to fold that. I would have liked to have tried to push some equity there on the turn. Nines. Man, no auto rebuy is kind of frustrating. I'm just going to call here given my stack depth. I should have maybe been considering 3-betting. That's one of the weaker hands to 3-bet. I don't even recall how I lost that amount of money at that table. But hopefully we just get it back right now. So against the larger sizing, I'm a little bit more concerned about just losing action. So I'm going to check raise small here and try to get it in the board, even though it is very dry. This guy can just go fast if he has anything that's strong here. He can still float a few overs. The 2's an awesome blank. So I'm just thinking, how do I get the money in here geometrically? I can half pot it. I can 3/4 pot it. And then it's a little less than 3/4. And I'll come along here with Jack 8. And in the future, I'll probably just, if I play zone at all, it'll be like one table or something like that. Pretty crappy river here. I am just hoping here that he didn't have one of the draws. He still has to call it off with a hand like King Queen, King Jack, something along those lines. So I let out here with Jack 8. I think my hand is pretty strong. I probably have the best top pair. The 2's not great on the turn. But I can still bet to protect against a lot of things and get value from worse. I'm not fully convinced that he has a 2 here. I'm going to call, and we'll see what happens. I don't think the ace is particularly great in case he was kind of just testing out a raise with a hand like ace 5, but yeah, that's kind of exactly what he was doing. To this small size, I will defend this 3-bet out position. And for this sizing, I'm going to bet larger, try to apply pressure. I think that if that hand continues upper right with the 5s, and he's just going to have all kinds of overcard to equity, so it's better to try to get him out of that hand earlier on. I'm going to bet half pot here. I want to bet something. I don't want it to be checked around. Not entirely sure. This guy may have a lot of combinations of 9-8. He has some other hands that are worse or better. I think I can still bet for value there. I think I would also maybe do some range checking there, given that a straight comes in and he may have a decent amount of combinations of that. I'm going to bet large now. I can have a lot of draws. Obviously, the ace, he just needs to essentially wondering if I'm bluffing or not. I will bet my ace 9 here to clean up some equity. I'm going to 3-bet ace 10. And only because he may have a hand like ace 10, I'm going to call here. But a lot of times this is king jack and 8-9. Or king queen, I meant. And to the smaller size here, for the short stack with my ace 9, I'm not going to give up my ace there just yet on the flop. Him taking bet check bet is kind of interesting. You can have some misdraws. You can certainly have better being from that position. Only half potting. I mean, what else can I do? I'm not going to fold that. I control so much of this board. I'm just going to down bet here. It's kind of weird. I mean, I could maybe even check this back, but I'm just going to bet small and hope I can incentivize some raises, which I get. Top and bottom is not a hand I'm going to play fast here. I think I can just call here and still comfortably get it in on the river. That's it's kind of annoying. I think 10-9 is definitely a hand that he would check raise. But you know, what else can I do? He has ace 10 here in 4s. Is his value range, I guess? We're a little bit deeper with the queen jack, and he's a small blind. I can certainly range bet here, so I'll do that. I'm a little tempted to just kind of turn it into a two-street thing and just check there, but I don't do that. I will fold king jack from that position to under the gun. Jack nine's a defend. We're a little bit deeper. He should hopefully be betting that at a pretty high frequency. And I'm not sure if he has more of a range that he's trying to show down here, if I can get another value bet in. I don't know if he has all the spade blockers here, but I'm going to fire out another one, and hopefully that he is just trying to show down. King, queen here. This guy 3-bet me. So I am going to float against that. Again, I'm just going to float against that. I'm going to raise the ace-8 here. Not that I really connect that well with our range, but I'd much prefer to have it be heads up instead of inviting someone else. Fold a good hand there. Pretty bad turn here with the 4s, so I'm going to check that. But it's an obvious check call. And the river's a check call too. We're a little bit deeper, unless he goes kind of crazy with it. He's potting. He's potting.
Where's Mommy?
I don't know. Go away. I'm busy.
Okay.
Man, I wish... why do I not have a time bank? That ace-10 hand was a bit of a mistake because of the other hand. I wouldn't have 3-bet that. I would have just taken a flop, given that he was shorter. I wasn't looking at stack sizes. I was annoyed that I was getting timed out there. This guy, I'm going to do the same thing. I think queen 10 in hand is still, even though his stack is shorter, I think it's too valuable to not 3-bet. I may check raise all in here on the flop. I think that's actually kind of interesting, because I think he's inclined to bet. I have to bet this ace now. It's better for my range, especially after checking. He probably has a lot of aces. It's kind of annoying, but I still have to bet it. And now I can just go for the coup de grace and just go for it. And hopefully any ace calls off. I'm not going to squeeze king jack. My queen 8 is not good enough to defend. 4-2 is a fold. And looking at the hand history, he had e7. So I guess that's one of the reasons why maybe betting that flop is better to kick out if he's that wide in aces. But I thought maybe with his smaller stack size and me checking there, he may bet thinking I was weak, and then I could check raise all in and realize all of my equity in maybe a more easy way and get some folds out of it too. Man. Big blind complicates that a little bit. I can bet now though. The small of the bet is not particularly scary, but then if I bet again on the river, even though we'll have to see what comes down and given the action, but it sets up maybe a river shove a little bit more nicely, which I have to do here. I don't represent a ton, but I'm hoping that, you know, this guy could have diamonds. He could have, unfortunately, I blocked like some of the jack tens that may be there, but you know, he doesn't seem very excited. He seemed pretty weak, so I just have to put in bets there. Obviously, I can't shut down queen high. We'll take one with our ace high, maybe the best hand. Fives, we will not play an all-in. It's kind of, man, it's a really small bet. I may still be best there, so I'm going to do that. And the queen is not really actually a great card, especially I should be donking out there, I guess, if I want to run some sort of bluff. I don't really want to condense his range too much, but I have to raise somewhat here for value with my king 9, value and protection. But the more I raise here, the more difficult and challenging his range becomes. And we're kind of going down that path where he does have hands like king queen and jack 10. I'm going to put in a little bit larger of a raise size here. I'm not going to squeeze that ace 5. And now all I can do is call. And he had ace queen. I'm going to range bet up here. Four should be really blankish, but so I'm going to check that and kind of give up there. You know, there's possibilities of bluff raising there, I guess, but my queen jack is not the best hand there to bluff raise because I think I need him to be bluffing with some of those like jack 10 gutter balls, stuff like that. I will not defend 5-6 here. It's not generally a 4-betting. Cold 4-bet ranges are not really weak. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to play a hand that needs a lot of help against a cold forward betting range if that's strong like that. Not entirely sure that I'm behind here, and I wish I could bet this appropriately with the slider. I'm going to actually down bet that turn pretty tremendously to apply hopefully a little bit of pressure to his range, allow me to realize some equity cheaply. Ace Queen could still be best against a hand like Ace 5, things like that. And with this action moving kind of quickly, Ace 6 is probably a bet here. Somewhere along the way, but also Ace High Showdown against such a low board seems reasonable. My 7-2 here. I'm going to call with Ace High. I mean, he has a 10, I guess, or busted draw. Yeah. So he has his range bet with Ace 3, especially against the big blind. He can be connected. He can have a lot of gutters and other interesting hands here to continue with, but it's still easily a range bet. And we'll fold to the check raise with no real backdoors. Same thing. This is a range bet, but even though it's small blind is a tighter position, the board is less connected to him. So I tried to kind of do like a one and done with my 7-6 here. Just clean up all the other garbage equity. That didn't work. I'm gonna fold. If he didn't, his sizing here is really, it's good. If it was something else, I may consider check raising. It's kind of annoying to get in a lot of money at this depth to a check raise that size if you were to 3-bet or anything like that, but it's definitely a good hand to kind of like semi-bluff check raise with to balance out some other flushes and straight draws that I have. Unfortunately, that card is just a little too brickish that unfortunately my hand is pretty much kind of dead here. And I don't really beat anything. So I'd kind of have to check raise bluff to win here. Which, I don't know, this guy, that is not a very strong bet. Ace Jack was a raise there. I was a little worried about timing out. Or Ace Queen. My Queen Jack here. drawing. I'm gonna 3-bet here to kind of clean up and figure out where I'm at. Remove a player. There's no way he should be that strong for that sizing with this amount of people in the hand. He does improve to some 2 pairs here. It's straight. I'd much rather just have 1 or 2 bets go in from this point. 1 instead of 2. So it's nice. There shouldn't really be any backdoor hearts unless they're paired with a 9, like a 9-10. Super curious that he makes that move. For such a large overbet. Block some hearts. I mean, a hand like ace jack. Man, this flop bet was so small. Having a difficult time. I'd like to call here, I think. I'd definitely like to call here. 10-8 seems crazy. So he has full houses. I guess he has some full houses, but don't some of those full houses play quicker? It's weird for him to do this as a bluff, though, unless it's just like missed diamonds or something. I'm going to call off here and just see what it is. I think I can actually check my ace-king here. I'm a little worried about someone trapping. I certainly clearly would have the best hand here. If I was going to bet at all, it would be a down bet. Jack 6, I'll defend. And I will actually try just a small bet here on the river. And we're getting close. I probably will wrap this up soon. I wanted to get about a half hour in. We were there. I kind of just wanted to see how I did, both talking and narrating. I definitely can't handle the speed of Zoom and commentating. So I just know in the future that I have to kind of change some of my tables into being regular tables unless it's Zoom. King, queen off at this stack depth. Even though I'm going to just kind of squeeze here, hopefully to remove the button and hopefully dissuade small blind, or if small blind comes along, my hand here is pretty strong, obviously, if I connect and hit with it. This is really just 2 bets. I'm not too concerned about having an ace come off, but I think he's maybe strong enough to call. Oops, I'd like to bet that. Oh, please don't fold me out. I'm going to call here anyway. I'm not super excited about it. I wish I could have bet that flop instead of doing it. I mean, at least I blocked Jack 10. That's one of the hands. But yeah, you know, you just got to call there. And as we finish up these orbits, we'll call it a session. We'll call it a video. I'm going to bet my ace-5 just to push a little bit equity, protect my hand a little bit. If he's checking that board, he's probably checking to give up, so we'll let him do that. Ace-10, I'm actually a little worried about this hand being a bit deeper. So my 7-8 here, I'm going to bet something. He has to fold some amount of hands here, which aren't, are all potentially going to beat me. He doesn't probably have a lot of 3s or 2s. This is a 10, isn't really connected. I can just bet small there to push some fold equity on top of him. This guy probably astutely figured out that my ace-10 would be really challenging there if he puts in some raises, given the delayed kind of underbet. So I'm just going to pitch that ace-10 because a river bet would be difficult to face there. And the board is just too connected for me to bet the ace there. I still potentially have the best hand, obviously. I can improve a lot. I just, I'd want to see a turn. And we'll fold there, and I'm just going to call it a video.